Today we will learn about a topic which is one of the most critical operations on board ship that directly involves the fourth engineer under the direct supervision of chief engineer. And the topic is bunkering operation. So what is bunkering? Bunkering is supplying of fuel oil for the use by the ships, and it includes the shipboard logistics of loading fuel and distributing it among the available bunker tanks. Now the bunker fuel or the bunker crude is technically any type of fuel oil which is used on board vessels, and its name is derived from the coal bunkers where the fuel was originally stored. So that is the reason why the ship's fuel is known as bunker. Bunker fuel is a term given to any fuel poured into a ship's bunker to power its engine. Now, the cargo vessels typically burn the heavy fuel oil, which is known as HFO, residual oil left over after the gasoline, diesel, and other light hydrocarbons which are extracted from the crude oil during the refining process. Now, bunkering operation involves couple of documentation which are very important. These are bunker documentation. Now, bunkering operation involves the bunkering safety checklist, that is the company's SMS checklist, which is given by the company that we need to follow from A to Z in order to ensure the safe bunkering operation. Number two is your oil record book, which is again an IMO and a MARPOL regulation as per Annex 1, that is very mandatory to be carried and to be properly filled during the bunkering operation. Number three is your BDN, which is a bunkering delivery note which is provided by the supplier after the successful completion of the bunkering operation. And number four is your bunker sample log. Now this is like a register which we have to fill after the bunkering operation, and we need to maintain it for the further inspection and the vetting operations. Now for each bunker delivery note, the following records are to be properly filled and properly to be locked down. Number one is your any documents which are known as your supporting documents, such as letter of protest if there is any, bunker survey reports, bunker quality certificates, and bunker receipts. These are to be attached along with the bunker delivery note. Number two is your BDN shall have a couple of information which are your name and IMO of the receiving ship of your ship on which we are taking the bunker. Then it shall have the name of the port where you are taking the bunker, the date of the commencement of the delivery of your bunker oil, then the name, addresses, the telephone number, and of the fuel supplier. The product name shall be properly mentioned, the quantity that you have actually received in metric tons. Now we'll be discussing why we are writing it metric ton and not in meter cubes. We'll be discussing that in detail. The another important thing is what is the density of your fuel oil that you are receiving at 15 degrees Celsius in kg per meter cube. The sulfur percentage or the sulfur percentage content and mass by mass is also to be required. And the most important thing is a declaration which is to be signed and certified by the fuel oil supplier that the fuel oil is supplied is in conformity with the regulation 14 and regulation 18 of the MARPOL Annex 6. Then we need to have a bunker that we need to have is a bunker safety checklist which is to be duly filled and signed by both the parties. Next thing is your oil record book, entries to be properly locked down. Next thing is your oil transfer procedures, which I have not written here. I'll write it. Oil transfer procedures. There's a checklist also in my company, and in the company's SMS you will also be having in yours also, so that is to be also filled. Bunker sample log entries, I already mentioned it, BDN I have written in here. So bunker sample log entries, these are to be properly logged down. Now, while it is compulsory for the fuel oil supplier of the country signatory of the Annex 6 to provide a proper BDN, same may not be possible in non-signatory country. So the chief engineer is kindly requested to mark same into the bunker sample log as a remark if they have not received. So bunker sample log is to be kept with the chief engineer's cabin. The bunker sample log and particularly the BDN is to be kept on board for at least 3 years. It is to be kept on board. Now, that we know the operation of supplying of fuel oil for the use by ships is known as bunkering operation. The bunkering operation itself has 4 stages, which are pre-arrival, prior to bunkering, during bunkering, and on completion. But all these stages are irrelevant if we don't know how to calculate the bunker. So why the bunker is calculated in weight, not in volume? This is the first question which comes into mind. Now the volume of a definite quantity of a bunker increases with the increase in temperature, whereas the weight remains same. So that is why we are calculating it in metric tons, not in meter cube. Now we cannot actually weigh the fuel oil physically, so that is the reason why we convert the weight into volume. So now I'll start that metric ton to be converted into meter cube. Now, in order to convert the metric ton into the meter cube, we have a formula, that is volume, which is meter cube, is equal to mass over density. The mass we have is in metric tons, so therefore your density becomes is equal to mass by volume. Now here the density that we are talking is the corrected density. So density is the corrected density. Now this corrected density is what? This is the density of the oil, density of fuel oil at the temperature at which the barge or your terminal is pumping. So we know that volume is equal to mass over density. The density becomes mass divided by volume, and we need a density, we need a corrected density, as we said earlier. The density of the fuel oil at the temperature at which your barge is pumping, that will be the corrected density or the density. Now we have a formula for corrected density, which is equal to D bracket 1 minus 0.000645 bracket small t minus 15 and bracket close. Here the D that I have written is the density at 15 degrees Celsius. So that is applied and given in the BDN. So this is the density at 15 degrees Celsius we get from the bunker form advice only. Now the temperature that I have mentioned in here is the temperature of the fuel oil at which the barge is pumping oil, that is. So now we have density at 15 degrees Celsius and we have temperature of the barge at which it is pumping the fuel oil. These were the only 2 variables in the corrected density formula. So now what we do is we find the corrected density and put it in the basic formula, that is volume is equal to mass over density. So from here we'll get the total volume of the bunker. Now then we'll check the sounding table. We'll find out the volume by checking the trim of our ship, and so we'll get the final ullage or the sounding of the tank we are looking for. This is how we calculate the bunker. Now let's take an example. Now consider example. Now considering we have 285 metric ton of HFO that needs to be bunkered in our ship in number 1 HFO port bunker tank, whose capacity is total 400 meter cubes. Total capacity is 400 meter cubes. Trim of the ship is 0.50 meters in positive. Now the information we get from the bunker advice form is your density is provided by this 0.9909. The temperature of the fuel oil at which the barge is pumping is 50 degrees Celsius. So we have to calculate. Now, question is, the corrected density we know. Now the corrected density we know is equal to D bracket 1 minus 0.000645 T minus 15 small bracket close. So what we'll do is corrected density is equal to density of 0.9909 bracket 1 minus 0.000645. Temperature we have 50 degrees Celsius at which the barge is pumping oil. So therefore what we get is 0.9682. Now this is your corrected density. So what we do is volume is equal to mass over density, which is corrected density, which is equal to 285, because as I said we want 285 metric tons, divided by the corrected density, which is 0.9682, which comes to 294.35 meter cube. This is the volume that we get using the corrected density formula. Now from the sounding table for the number 1 port bunker tank, we'll find 294.35 meter cube. That there will, from there only we'll get the final ullage or the sounding or the volume for the bunker tank we actually want. Now if we want mass of the fuel oil, let's say we want mass is metric tons, so what we'll do is actual volume, okay, what we got is actual volume multiplied by the temperature, corrected, and density. So this is the formula for calculating the mass, and we'll get the actual volume, we'll get the temperature corrected density, and we'll get the metric tons. This is how we calculate the bunker calculation. Very easy and very simply explained. If you have any doubt regarding how to calculate the bunker operations, or if you have any formula, I'll be sharing with you a couple of actual real life photos of how we were calculating the bunker on board ships. So if you have any doubt, you can just comment in the comment section below, or you can just follow up on the further videos. Thank you very much for watching.